What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Ben Affleck returning to the Batman role. Yes, it is he said, she said, scooper war. One scooper says it's happening, another says it's not happening. We are hearing personally that it's happening from the same person that told us about the Justice League Snyder Cut getting greenlit months before it did. Check back on the channel. So who should we believe? In this video, we're going to go over an article that is going over the most recent information about Ben Affleck returning as a Batman, which is very, very interesting. And I know people will be going, oh yeah, but there's the HBO Max series coming out set in the Matt Reeves universe. Guys, that's irrelevant. That does not discredit anything. So if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. At the 100,000 subscribe mark, will be giving away something pretty darn awesome. So ever since Henry Cavill was involved with Zack Snyder saying, I think you should release it, then he's like, yep, Zack Snyder and Justice League coming 2021. So there's a new report going around that Ben Affleck is reportedly returning as Batman despite claims to the contradictory. So what's happening here is it seems to be a massive scooper war where every scooper's saying, no, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. And although these scoopers do have a lot of credibility, even the trades are saying it's not happening, but then the trades didn't say anything about Snyder Cup happening until literally a week before it was announced. Maybe 2 weeks, because like there's a lot of backpedaling, and I know scoopers get things right, they get things wrong. They're only as credible as their source. What I do here on YouTube, I'm not a scooper. I break down leaks, I break down news, we do reviews, we do literally everything. I'm not a scooper. I just break down information and scoops and leaks and all this kind of good stuff. So let's get into this. So a pretty reliable scooper shattered our hopes last week when he shot down the rumor Ben Affleck will suit up again on the HBO Max to finish his arc as Batman. However, the writer who pushed the initial story is still standing by claims. Taylor Murphy at The Cultured Nerd. Now, there is a YouTube video I will link down below to the podcast that he was on. I think it's called The Light Podcast. I will leave it down below. It's very interesting what he says, and to be honest, a lot of what he said actually lines up. So this is Taylor Murphy at The Cultured Nerd, who we spoke about before, wrote recently that Affleck signed a contract and will go back to adapting his script for HBO Max. Now, what is interesting here is Heroic Hollywood Umberto Gonzalez tweeted on the 7th that this isn't true. Now, he tweeted this: Gonzalez, as much as I'd personally want this to see, unfortunately, this is not true. So Umberto is a trade. He works for trade. He is pretty much the scooper. I've spoke to him multiple times before. He's a trusty source. So after talking to him, he basically says that it's not true. The Ben Affleck story, it's just not happening. That's pretty much what he says. So that's what he's been told, but that doesn't mean that is true. So I presume what's happening is, if there is something true, is trade websites and stuff, they're not allowed to reveal information until the press, the publicity team, or whoever's handling whatever is going on with this project, they're not allowed to confirm anything until it is legit. So this is still rumor mill. I do believe what Umberto said to me is interesting. He's saying it's not true, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I like to report all sides of the puzzle. But Murphy appeared on the Light podcast, sticking to his guns and defending his claims and the legitimacy of his sources, who says are members of his family that worked at Warner Bros. Now, it's a 3-hour to 4-hour podcast. I will leave it down below in the description box. Now, it is very interesting. So Murphy shared leaked images he received from them to back up what they're saying. There's a bunch of images, but there is a real prominent one of one of his family members, or a source that is actually at the DC headquarters. Obviously, he's photoshopped out who it is. Murphy believes his sources are real because he's had a lot of stuff right in the past that he said during the podcast that he didn't reveal because it wasn't his place to say it. So he claims he has multiple sources checked in, and he told him that Affleck happened to sign on. sign back on. And we've heard reports over the last few weeks of Affleck signing back on to do projects with Zack Snyder. So this is the initial report. Ben Affleck has reportedly signed a contract, and we talked about how he had a couple other people. A couple of other sources who said, hey, it happened, he signed it. And we're like, okay, cool. We checked with a few more people, and then we checked with a couple more people, a couple of prominent Instagram accounts who are very big, which doesn't really confirm anything. Having follow count on Instagram on any platform doesn't really mean anything, but it is interesting. Murphy added, the conversation started when he heard about Ben Affleck's contract from a DC fan account moderated who heard about it someone from Special Effects. One particular buddy of mine, he runs one of these DC fan accounts that has a few 100,000 followers. Like I said, guys, followers mean absolutely nothing. Murphy said, he has some friends that work in Special Effects. Then he texted me and was like, hey, my Special Effects buddy just told me that Ben signed a contract. What the is going on? And that's how the conversation started. He elaborated. He checked with his sources. I'm like, dude, that is awesome because I heard the same thing from 3 other people. So I started talking all these things as confirmation, as little confirmation. But eventually, I would like to know what you just asked, so I'll check my source. He added, I called them like, bam. I just called them and they told me they're like, sounds like you've got your answer already. What do you want me to tell you? So he's saying he's called up his sources at Warner Bros. And they literally just said to him, sounds like you got your answer already. Now, nothing is really confirmed until it is confirmed, but I believe even if this is true, like the Henry Cavill returning to Superman stuff, that it's not going to be available, and they're not going to confirm it till at least DC Fandom event in August, but more realistically, after the Snyder Cut. Because if you think he's signing on just for the Snyder Cut, no, definitely not. So Murphy discussed a lineage at Warner, stating with his great aunt. So his great aunt essentially worked for Warner Bros. At Burbank. Now this is where it gets interesting. As a projector producer, she retired weeks before The Dark Knight Rises hit theaters and was gifted a poster of her as Catwoman in a bat pod blowing up Warner Bros. Tower. He explained how Warner Bros. Runs in his family. Warner Bros. Has always been a family affair for us. As I got to meet and run a lot of cool people. Basically, has got a lot of connections at Warner Bros. Bit of a strange thing to say if it isn't true. Like I say, I'm not really questioning whether it's true because there was evidence. One person he met was the Batman producer, Chuck. Murphy previously stated that Affleck come back on the Lightcast that had signed a contract. The announcement will come before September, either at DC Fandom or Justice Con, which is literally around the corner. Snyderverse Batman is returning. He says his family collaborates that info. We can't talk about something like that if it's real, but it sounds like you've got the right information. I can't stop you at that talking point. You've already got the information you want. I can't tell you if it's true or not. DC Fandom event is coming up next month in August, so it's most likely is interesting. And it is interesting how there seems to be some... I've reached out personally to a lot of scoopers. Well, let's be honest, not scoopers, because they're not from trades, they're from little websites. Instagram and I guess you could say Twitter influencers, you know the people that, say stuff on Twitter like, we've got some big DC news, we've got some big Marvel news. Yeah, just trying to get clicks on Twitter, basically. So I've reached out to a lot of people, and it's worth saying that all these people said the Snyder Cut was never, ever coming out. And they've all literally said, nope, no, it's not happening, not true, definitely not happening. So it's interesting. Because if you look at how Ben Affleck is now, he's, basically going shopping with his partner every single day. He looks much happier. The clip he sent into the Kevin Smith show, when it was revealed, he's looking a lot happier now that the truth is out. And everyone brings up this alcoholism for Ben Affleck. He was pushed out because he was going to ruin his... Okay, guys, his son loves him playing Batman. He did not give up that role willingly. Now, allegedly, everything to do with Jeff Johns is out of the company now. Factually true. Allegedly, it's all to do with Jeff Johns, why Batfleck left. So I don't believe that if he was given another chance, then he wouldn't take it up. It literally makes no sense. The Snyder Cut movement essentially came around because AT&T bought out Time Warner, and the fans want this. The fans wanted the Snyder Cut. We got the Snyder Cut. The fans want Batfleck. We're going to get Batfleck. Now, this doesn't take away from Robert Pattinson's variation because that's already been confirmed and verified to not be part of the DCEU. So I will leave all the links down below, and there's multiple websites reporting the exact same story. Now, it is interesting, like you said, it never actually confirms that it's 100% happened, but he still firmly believes what he was told. And scoopers, in quote marks, in and out of commas, essentially do get a lot of things wrong and a lot of things right. Generally, what happens is a lot of the scoopers hear the same information. It's just a case of, can they get a second or third source to back it up and say, yeah, that's definitely happening. So Ben Affleck is a very hot topic at the moment. But guys, this is not the first video I've spoke about Ben Affleck. It seems to be somewhat true. It seems to be like some people are so anti against Affleck returning that even if there is factual evidence out there, they are discrediting it. And then obviously a couple of weeks ago now, I don't think I reported this, but there were rumors and stories of Ben Affleck to return as Batman in future Zack Snyder projects, and it obviously would be the Batman with Joe Manganiello. Now, it may happen, it may not happen, but nevertheless, guys, it is very, very interesting. And soon as we are talking about Affleck, what is interesting is a lot of people criticize his physique and all that kind of good stuff, but he was actually bigger than his stunt double. There's a picture going around of him and his stunt double, and Ben Affleck was actually bigger, a lot bigger than his stunt double. So I thought I'd just add this to this video. So like always, guys, let me know everything that you know down below. And before you say this is clickbait, guys, this is not my story. I'm literally going to put the link down below to whatever websites I've used in this. I think it has a lot of validity. If you watch the podcast as well, alongside it, they speak about in depth about how he knows all these people at Warner Bros. And how literally they just said you've already got the information. I can't say anything. Literally tells me that something went on behind the scenes. If you actually watch it, he goes as far as to say that Ben Affleck was actually on, having a meeting at Warner Bros. Very recently. So I don't think anyone's going to make up with this. The simple fact that the website Cultured Nerd, it's not monetized, meaning there's no monetary value, meaning they're not making money from talking about this kind of stuff. They're not a scoop website, and it always says like possibly could happen. If you go on the website, it never says factually, it's possibly. Like this article from the Culture Nerd on the 30th of June. Ben Affleck possibly returning as Batman for future projects. It's never exclusive or that kind of lingo. It's possibly returning, And it's not clickbait. Some people think you can clickbait just by putting the word possibly. And then there was another one they did back in May. Exclusive AT&T and Warner Bros. Wants Ben Affleck. Okay, they can want him, It's like every movie must have, like every director must have a wish list for who they want to be in said movie. So, like this website seems really credible how they report stories. It really does. Like if you check them out, if you check every Ben Affleck story out, it doesn't actually say that he's returning. It's like, this is the information we know. It could happen. And I think they are one of the better websites. Like I say, guys, there's no monetary value. There's no monetary ads or anything like that. So that kind of makes it more credible. Or at least when I checked the website, I didn't notice any ads. I'm pretty sure there's no monetary kind of adverts running on the website. So like always, guys, before you butcher me or clickbait comments down below, please watch the whole video, look at the links, watch the podcast for more context, and I will get you in another video. But like always, guys, check out warstu.com, Warstu on Instagram, Warstu Twitter, Warstu GG, Warstu on Twitch, twitch.tv/Warstu, and I will catch you in that next video. And like I always say, guys, if you do want to interact, you want to ask me anything, if you want to reach out to me, message me on Instagram. I do reply back to literally everyone. I've been talking to a bunch of people that watch this channel over the last week or so. It's been pretty cool. So yeah, and I always answer questions and stuff on my Instagram. I'm just a random person that talks into a microphone, so why wouldn't I respond to you guys? So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.